On NTA International, I am Ifoma Ojinta. But let's take the highlights first. Forum of presidential candidates and political parties pass vote of confidence on INEC for conducting credible, free and fair elections. DIA Kano State Command arrests drug baron with 50 kilograms psychoactive substance and hard drugs worth millions of naira. Experts advocate precautionary measures to prevent the world from fresh environmental and health challenges. And now the details. And political parties has passed a vote of confidence on the Independent National Electoral Commission for conducting a credible, free and fair election despite some human errors and isolated cases of thuggery and intolerance. This was at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The central message of the Forum of Presidential Candidates is that of Nigeria being greater than all. Therefore, the need for all to shelve personal and class interest for the overall development of the country. Chairman of the forum, Shitu Kabir Mohammed, noted that they are not oblivious of the fact that only one candidate will emerge as president. Now that President Muhammadu Buhari has emerged, they are urging the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, to accept the will of Nigerians.
Why can't we use this opportunity, instead of lambasting the government, to come together, build government of national unity, bring best brain around the world to build our economy for us? This is what we are saying. Put up infrastructures. This is what we are saying. Nobody can hire us. We are not for hire.
The forum also advised those in the habit of reporting Nigeria's internal matters to the international community to henceforth cease, emphasizing that it is not healthy for patriots. Meanwhile, the Integrity Friends for Truth and Peace Initiative, an accredited observer group by the Independent National Electoral Commission, has similarly adjudged the February 23rd Presidential and National Assembly elections as optimally excellent.
We advise all stakeholders to look forward to work for the growth and development of Nigeria based on justice. We also advise all those who lost and those who won to see themselves as victors.
The Observer Group believes that most of the infractions recorded during the February 23rd elections can be avoided during the forthcoming elections and called for government to institute punitive measures against perpetrators of election violence. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Kano has sacked the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party for Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf. Awal Salisu has the details.
The case was instituted before Justice Louis Alagoa by Ibrahim Al-Aminu, one of the aspirants for governorship under the banner of the People's Democratic Party. He alleged that the party denied him the right to contest primary election, having bought expression and nomination forms. The complainant said he approached the court to interpret whether the party can go ahead to field a candidate for the forthcoming governorship elections in Kano State without conducting primary elections or not. Counsel to the plaintiff tendered before the court a document that showed the party did not conduct primary elections. Justice Louis Alagua averred that some sections of the Electoral Acts insist that the party must conduct primary elections to nominate its candidates. He said failure of the party to adhere to the electoral law make PDP vulnerable without gubernatorial candidate for Kano State in the forthcoming gubernatorial elections. Justice Alagua directed that PDP should conduct fresh primary election for the nomination of its standard bearer for the forthcoming governorship elections in Kano State. Counsel to the plaintiff and that of PDP comments.
As it appears now, the PDP has to put its acts together and ensure that they have another candidate between now and Saturday.
We will look at it and do the needful, honestly speaking. We will look at it and sit down and look at it.
In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
The entire members of executive of the People's Democratic Party in Kano State have defected to the ruling party. citing alleged undemocratic tendencies among the national leadership of the party as one of their reasons for the defection. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that the party has been in leadership tussle in the state for long, which resulted in the emergence of parallel executive members.
For quite some time, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has been confronting some challenges in Kano State since the defection of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso from APC to PDP last year. The defected executive members, led by Masoud Jibril Dogwa, says this was as a result of neglect and sidelining.
PDP is in problem at ward level. PDP is in problem at local government level. PDP is in problem at state level. Currently, we have never seen eye to eye with even the gubernatorial candidate. Abba K. Yusuf has never called me as the chairman, even if I am the chairman of a small group of people called PDP. I think Abba need to call me and solicit for my support.
Masoud further accused the leadership of the party of being biased, stressing that there was no harmonious relationship among party members, especially in Kano State. The defected PDP ESCOs assured APC of maximum support to clinch the governorship and all state House of Assembly seats in the forthcoming elections. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Still talking politics, the People's Democratic Party says it has taken a decision to challenge the outcome of the February 23, 2019 presidential election within the ambit of the law. National chairman of the party, Prince Uche Secondus, stated this at an expanded national caucus meeting held at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The agenda of this meeting, attended by the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, is to review the February 23, 2019 presidential and national assembly elections and to strategize towards a better outing in the forthcoming March 9th governorship and state assemblies elections. The party's national chairman, Uche Secondus, explained that the party has decided to go to court over the February 23rd presidential election, and the process is ongoing.
We will seek justice to the last court of the land, within the law, within the provision of our law, and within the provision of rule of law.
The national chairman thanked the party's supporters and implored them to vote for all the party's candidates in the governorship and state assemblies elections. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 16 gubernatorial candidates from various political parties have withdrawn from the forthcoming governorship election. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that this development is coming on the heels of growing support for the ruling All Progressive Congress in Kano State.
More than 30 political parties fielded candidates for the governorship election in Kano State. Less than a week to the polls, 16 candidates withdrew from the race and collapsed their structure into the All Progressive Congress APC. While on a solidarity visit to Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, Ibrahim Bello Gaya of the UPC disclosed that all state assembly contestants from their parties have also shelved their ambition.
So we are a coalition of gubernatorial candidates here in Kano that really come to him and to show him our solidarity to vote for him as our choice governor come 2019, inshallah.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje thanked the governorship candidates for identifying with the numerous achievements of the APC government and their decision to join the party. Present during the solidarity rally were governorship candidates of the UPN, AD, AA, UMPP, ADC, and UPC.
The incoming 9th Assembly has been advised to prioritize working in synergy with the executive to move Nigeria forward. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria says it will be unfortunate for the 9th Assembly to replicate the continuous crisis that characterized the 8th Assembly. Lydia Sampson reports.
The guest, who unanimously agreed that the presidential and National Assembly elections were free and fair, says the playout of some members of the National Assembly losing is simply democracy at work, in line with the people's mandate. They urged the 9th Assembly to be more focused and issue-driven by putting Nigeria first.
The party's interference in running respective offices, I think this was purely informed by the need to take into cognizance the heterogeneous nature of Nigerian society and also give a sense of belonging to all the constituent parts of the Nigerian society.
If somebody believes, for instance, in the APC, that he can partner with the PDP and that will help him emerge as a leader of the House, as a Speaker of the House, even against the permutations of the party, he will do that. And so it's money yet on Creation Day. Nobody can sit here with all certainty and determine exactly how events will play out.
They called on the ruling All Progressives Party to harness their simple majority with clear programs on the party's journey to the next level to avoid ambiguities.
To caution the ruling party to say, look, yes, you have a simple majority, but it is not your thought for you to be able to ride roughshod over the opposition. You cannot discountenance the opposition, but without that thought, there must be a carry along, otherwise we won't make progress.
Having been elected into a chamber of the parliament through a vehicle or political party, the moment you get there, you begin to misbehave or think that you are independent. That is political indiscipline and it should not be tolerated.
The guests also called for mutual respect from both the executive and legislative arm of government for the overall interests of democracy and the Nigerian project. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
The President Buhari administration has ensured equitable funding of federal road projects across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said this during a media tour of federal road projects in the southwest zone of the country. Fatai Adiyeloja has details.
There is no gainsaying the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari has made good his promise that funding would not be a challenge in infrastructural renewal across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Going by the frenetic pace of the work, what then is the take of the Works, Power and Housing Ministry on timeliness, equity, and quality?
The cost of constructing 1 kilometer of road in Bayelsa may do up to 320 in the north. Fashola will eat up your head if you do any shady work for him.
This new design is now taking care to strengthen the shoulders so that the road can last.
By the grace of God, we're going to finish the project in time.
Aside the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, strategic roads in other parts of the southwestern parts of the country, such as Oshogbo, Ilugbo, Ogbomoso, Ibadan-Ogbomoso-Ilorin Highway, are undergoing sustained reconstruction. This is in addition to the Shagamu-Benin Highway. Failures from motorists along these axes indicate things are getting better.
Before they do like this, but now it goes smooth.
These days, we are comfortable traveling by road.
We appreciate this. We appreciate this.
In Ibadan, Fatai Adiyeloja, NTA News.
Journalists have been urged to step up reports on cases of gender-based violence in the society. This is to protect the victim as well as fashion out ways of eliminating such vices in the society. Grace Bamidele was at the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists workshop.
So the workshop, organized by the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ Oyo State chapter, is aimed at sensitizing journalists on proper reportage of gender-based violence issues.
One is concerned and one feels that, look, we need to begin to, address some of these issues.
Others also emphasize the dangers associated with gender-based violence and implored the victims to always report to the nearest approved medical facilities.
And I will look at women and children and say anything we particularly do to rob children of their rights and privileges, inclusive of education, inclusive of right to play, etc. It is a gender-based violence.
We need them to tell them that they need the confidentiality.
As journalists, we are meant to know that it is our role to help these victims of violence become survivors and not to intensify their suffering by the way we report cases that has to do with them.
The workshop has as its theme gender-based reporting. In Ibadan, Grace Bamdele, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. Stay tuned for more news after the break. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, there are strong signals that the world may face fresh environmental and health challenges if precautionary measures are not taken to restore the decreasing rates of wildlife. Experts made the observation at an event to mark International Wildlife Day in Nigeria. Mayor Ogidi reports.
They are untamed, so cruel in action, and in this cruelty lies their usefulness to humanity, as they maintain healthy ecological balance. Poaching and hunting them for jewelry, meat and leather are great factors contributing to wildlife extinction. Wildlife is now a victim to modern-day trafficking. For instance, this baby chimpanzee was trafficked from Nigeria to India last year, but was intercepted in Istanbul, Turkey, and was returned to Nigeria. The buyer was waiting to get it at $12 million in India. And in Oyo, Akwa Ibom State, the Nigeria Customs Service intercepted 600 different species of wildlife on their way to Europe and handed over to the University of Oyo for practicals. These are just few cases of man's inhumanity to wildlife. So, the Federal Ministry of Environment in Nigeria, in its 2019 World Wildlife Day, is concerned on how to expand the protection level of these endangered species.
The National Park Service has recently submitted a proposal for the establishment of 10 additional national parks, including a marine national park in Bayelsa State,
as well as scaling up support for initiatives that have proved successful.
When properly taken care of, wildlife can be a major revenue earner, create conducive environment for humanity, and great breakthroughs in the nation's pharmaceutical industry. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
And talking security now, the Kano State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has recorded another breakthrough with the arrest of an international drug baron with 50 kilograms psychoactive substance and hard drugs which weigh 150 kilograms and worth millions of naira. Lawal Salau Inua reports that the agency also arrested more than 100 people alleged to be involved in drugs-related offences.
Items confiscated include 872 kilograms of Indian hemp,
715 psychotropic substances, 400 kilograms of cocaine, and 120 kilograms of heroin. The command also apprehended a suspect who supplies a new illicit substance known as cat, unusually produced in East and Southern Africa.
I asked the man who said he will send it. Nigeria, I should give to someone in Ghana. Please put on it. I said, is this okay, allowable? It has been sent to Nigeria. He said, yes, it has been sent normally.
If you're married one, when they catch you with this, they have departed from your family. And some of us that is not married yet, the time they're going to waste us and the other things, I don't think it will be better for us.
For the first time in history, the command arrested 37 cocaine addicts and dislodged various points of drug abuse in the state. Despite federal government banned the importation of codeine syrup and tramadol, some Nigerians engage in the production of fake syrup and circulate across the country.
Whoever is caught wanted, especially in the ongoing gubernatorial election, will definitely be brought to book. He will be apprehended and be arraigned before the Federal High Court.
The commander, Abdul Ibrahim, advised politicians to refrain from encouraging the habit of thuggery through supplying of drugs to their followers. From November last year to February 2019, the command has apprehended over 250 suspects and charged many of them to court to face the wrath of the law. Lawal Sallo Inua, NTA News.
Chiazalam Ekiye is standing by with stories from the financial sector.
Thanks for joining me. Latest report from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that during the fourth quarter of 2018, Nigeria's merchandise trade stood at 8.61 trillion naira, down from 9.11 trillion naira recorded in the third quarter by 460.96 billion naira. Analysis showed that the total export component of this trade was put at 5 trillion naira, while raw materials grew by 9.5%. Value of energy goods was put at 40 million naira, while value of agricultural exports rose by 115.1%. Moving to the energy market now, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it earned a total of 5.54 trillion naira from oil revenue in 2018. The Apex Bank says the amount was earned through three major revenue sources: crude oil and gas sales, petroleum profits, tax and royalties. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed says there is the need to increase non-oil revenue to stimulate the economy. She was speaking at the 2018 conference of the National Council on Finance and Economic Development. She urged the states to look inwards to harness revenue generation and to boost the economy. That's the package. I'm Chiazalam Eki. The news continues.
Thank you, Chiazalam. And for news from other parts of the globe, here is Ado Adamu Anso.
Glad to have you join us on this segment of the news. Helicopter crash in Central Island National Park in northern Kenya on Sunday, killing 4 American tourists and their Kenyan pilot. The cause of the crash is not known. However, local media say the pilot, Mario Moganga, once worked for the country's deputy president and had extensive training and experience. He had previously served as the Kenyan Defense Forces pilot, but had been working for a private firm since March 2017. The accident comes just 3 weeks after a separate plane crash in Kenya, which killed 5 people, including 3 Americans. The United States has officially closed its consulate in Jerusalem, downgrading the status of its main diplomatic mission in Palestine by folding it into the U.S. Embassy to Israel. For decades, the consulate functioned as de facto embassy to the Palestinian, leaving the Palestine issues to be handled by the Palestinian Affairs Unit under the command of the embassy. Palestinian leaders see the decision as another move against them by the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. And authorities say at least 23 people have been killed as tornadoes struck Lee County in eastern Alabama of the United States of America. The county sheriff, Jay Jones, said there had been